Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here, and today I'm going to do a breakdown of prices for all of the warbands that we currently know about. Now, as you can see from the spreadsheet behind me over there, we are mainly going to be looking at the Age of Sigmar core factions here because we already know 100% how much their boxes cost. However, if I may go out on a limb, as we know the Cypher Lords cost £30 for a box. We can, let's say, assume that all of the Warcry bands are going to cost £30, and that will get you everything you need. It will give you enough models to field a 1,000-point warband, along with the fighter cards and the ability card. However, if you want to have any options, it seems like you will have to just buy another box. So, for those of us happy to run a regular game, the cost for a Warcry warband is £30 and you're done. The cost for those of us who want to be a completionist is going to be at least 60. Anyway, let's look at everything else I have up here. Let's start with the Stormcast. You have the option of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible units. We will knock one of those away straight away. The Ether Wings are included in the Vanguard Raptor Longstrike and the Vanguard Raptor Hurricane box. Those two boxes are actually a dual kit. So straight away, you don't need to buy two of those. Vanguard Hunters, you're going to need those, and Gryph-hounds, you're going to need those. Right, let's break this down. So the Vanguard Raptor Longstrike and the Vanguard Raptor Hurricane units are £22.50 for a box of 3. Now that box of 3 also gives you 3 Ether Wings. However, now of course I will also provide, so all of this I am of course having to guess somewhat at how many of these units you may need. I assume that the long strikes and the hurricanes are going to be expensive units and you're probably not going to want more than 3. I mean, if you think about the untamed beasts, your warband is 7 people, and Stormcast are probably more expensive than that, so your warband could validly be 6, maybe 5. All speculation, of course. However, therefore, it sounds quite likely to me that a single box of them will give you enough units to do what you want. Maybe you'll make 1 long strike, 2 hurricanes, something like that. The Gryph-hounds, you just have to suck that up and buy that. It's £15 for a box and you get 6. I'm sure that will be more than enough. And of course, you're getting the Ether Wings in the Vanguard Raptors there. Then, however, we come to the Vanguard Hunters. Clearly, the most expensive unit box on that list for £37.50. If you just buy 1 of each, so 1 box of the Vanguard Raptors, 1 box of the Gryph-hounds, and 1 box of the Vanguard Hunters, that takes you to £75. However, that Vanguard Hunter box comes with 10 models. I cannot see us ever wanting to run 10 models. I'm sure that will be way too many. We have to, in the interest of science, look at alternatives. The first natural alternative, I feel, are the Fast Riders. Now, the Fast Riders over here, £15 and you get 3 Fast Riders. This, of course, is a little bit of a questionable, like at this point, we just don't know. I assumed that 3 Fast Riders wouldn't fill out your entire roster, or your entire list, sorry, your entire 1,000 points. And so if you decide you want to run only Fast Riders, not Fast Riders, Vanguard Hunters, then this won't be enough and you will just want to buy the full 10-man box. I can't really say yes or no until we get to that point. However, if you choose to do that, so you buy a Vanguard Raptor box, a Gryph-hound box, and the Fast Riders, it brings the total to buy every single unit for the Stormcast Eternals to £52.50. That's assuming RRP from Games Workshop. That's not terrible. That could be worse, all things considered. However, they do have one other potential thing you could buy, which is the Start Collecting Vanguard box. So this gives you 3 Gryph-hounds and 5 Vanguard Hunters. It also gives you a bunch of stuff you don't need for Warcry. However, if Warcry has inspired you enough to possibly start a proper army, then buying this actually is really good, like value for money, because it will give you, I assume, what would be the majority of a warband, if not the entire warband, and a nice little force to push you on your way. There you go. And of course, in this way, you get more Vanguard Hunters than you do if you only buy the Fast Riders. Right, that's Stormcast Eternal. You can be all in for £52.50, not too bad. Then we go to the Daughters of Khaine. These guys are pretty straightforward. The Khinai Life Tag and the Khinai Heartrender are one kit. The Bloodstalker and the Blood Sister are another kit. The Witch Elf and the Sister of Slaughter are yet another kit. So if you buy one kit of each, this is again assuming that you're never going to need more of both unit types than a single box gives you. So you buy one Khinai box, one Blood box, and one Witch Elf box. So £27.50, £30, £35, £92.50 to get one of every model for the Daughters of Khaine. That's steep. Now, I'm pretty sure that you're never going to need anything else for them, but that is steep. Yeah, that is the most expensive warband to start. To get one of everything. So now you know. Now this brings us to the Idoneth Deepkin. The Namarti Thralls are £30. The Namarti Reavers are £30. Then the Morsar Guard and the Ishlayan Guard are a dual kit, which are £30. Now this is, from what very little we've seen in the previous article, one of the factions where you might legitimately want to have the option of running a pure elite list with the Ishlayan and Morsar Guard, or a pure horde list with the Namarti Thralls and Namarti Reavers. So you might actually want to double up on the eel boxes. However, if you don't, it's pretty straightforward. You get one box of each. That takes you to £90. However, you can make that £5 cheaper by picking up the Idoneth Deepkin Start Collecting box, because that gives you the Namarti Thrall box and one of the eel boxes. It also, just for £5 cheaper. And you also get a character. Buying the Start Collecting box for the Idoneth Deepkin is the way to go. 100%. And then if you want to get the Reavers, your choice. Or maybe you'll want to double down and pick up another eel box. Which brings us to the Nighthaunt. Now, unfortunately, there's no real way of cheapening these guys. So, if you buy the Chain Rasp, easy to build box, that's £25. The Grimghast Reaper is £27.50. Spirit Host 16. Glavewraith Stalker, which is a single model, by the way, £10. Now that's £78.50 all in. Now I would argue that if you were to buy the Briar Queen Underworlds gang, that the Briar Queen herself could almost certainly double as a Spirit Host, whereas the others could be another type of Nighthaunt unit that I'm not good enough with the unit names to know which they are. They'd either be Chain Rasps or Grimghast Reapers, and they would double up. So potentially for £15, you're saving yourself up to 30. Who knows? But if you don't do that, if I'm completely off base with that, if you decide that you need more than a single Spirit Host, it's not a good buy. So anyway, if you ignore the Briar Queen suggestion there, the Nighthaunt are going to cost you £78.50, which I feel for such small models, they're lovely models, don't get me wrong, but that seems quite steep. Then we go to the Legions of Nagash. The Necromancers £10, the Graveguard are £25.50, and the Skeleton Warriors are £17.50. You can, if you wish, buy the Sepulchral Guard Underworld box, who I believe are 8 skeletons, but they're only £2.50 cheaper than the Skeleton Warriors, and you get fewer, but they look much better. So kind of your decision there. If you ignore the Sepulchral Guard comment though, they cost £53 to get into the Legions of Nagash. Not terrible, I suppose. Flesh Eater Courts, we come to the Crypt Flayers, the Crypt Horrors, the Crypt Ghouls. £55 for those. So the Crypt Flayers, the Crypt Horrors come from the same box. The Crypt Ghouls are the Crypt Ghouls. And so if you get one box of the Flayers, one box of the Ghouls, that takes you to £55. And this is without a shadow of a doubt the best start collecting box, because not only do you get a box of the Crypt Flayers and a box of the Crypt Ghouls for £55, so the same price, you get a zombie dragon thrown in. It's like, yeah, if you are going to start Flesh Eater Courts for Warcry, buy the start collecting box. There is no questions to be asked about that. You should. If you want to double down and find yourself running a hard elite team, you may want to pick up a second box of Crypt Flayers, in which case it's just another £30. But you may as well buy another start collecting box, honestly. Sell off the ones you don't need. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, the Gloomspite Gitz. Now, these ones are... Okay. So the Boingrot Bounders and the Squig Hoppers are the same box. They're £30. The Stabbers and the Shooters are the same box. They're £22.50. And the Squig Herder comes in the Cave Squig box. And that's £27.50. There you go. In total, that will cost you £80. However, and this is really a point where we have to kind of see the specific list you want to run and exactly how many points they cost, etc. But Zarbag's Gitz is one of the Underworld warbands, and I know in there you get 2 Cave Squigs, 3 Shooters, and I think 3 other models. That one you could argue is a Squig Herder, and then I don't know, like chop up 2 hands, and you could probably have yourselves 2 Stabbers. I don't know. I mean, that's a very easy proxy to make. I don't think anyone would argue that that guy's not really a Squig Herder. I think that would be fine. And so you could combine the Cave Squig and the Squig Herder there for £15. That's pretty good. You could also, if you want to run a very specific list with the Gloomspite Gitz, use the Shooters from that and not pay the £22.50 and only buy the Boingrot Bounder Squig Hopper box for £30. So you could be all in for £45 with them. But obviously that would be a very limited list. So, but that is genuine. I was trying to think up of the genuinely cheapest way you could run any of these lists. I think that's a goer, but you would then be forced to run a hell of a lot of squigs, quite possibly. But that's probably what you want to do, let's be honest. But then becomes Ironjawz. There's not really a... Okay, so they only have 2 unit types. The Brutes for 30 and the Ardboys for 32. You could, if you want, not buy the Ardboys and instead buy the Iron Skull Boys. That gives you 4 Ardboys, effectively. For £15 instead of, I think it's 10 for 32? Or is it 15 or 20 for 32? I can't quite remember. And so if you ignore the Iron Skull Boys comment there, that's £62. If you do not buy the Ardboys, instead buy the Iron Skull Boys, it's £45. So the same as the Gloomspite Gitz there, if you do that. Personally, I think that's the way to go. I think realistically, you're probably going to want a lot of brutes in that list. I don't know. Says the person that knows nothing about the rules. Good stuff. And finally, we have our outstanding, run away with it, everyone should buy it list here, which is the cheapest warband, the cheapest faction, including all of the Warcry factions, to buy into. And that is the Bonesplitterz. So they have access to 4 different units. the Savage Orc Moorboys, the Savage Orcs, the Savage Orc Arrowboys, and the Savage Orc Big Stabbers. The boxes for those all cost £30. However, they are all the same box. Now, one of these Savage Orc boxes gives you 20 models. When it comes to the Savage Orcs, you will only ever have to buy one box. You get 20 models, you build them however you want, whether it's, 3 or 4 or 5 Arrowboys, the rest Orcs, the rest Moorboys, and then you will always build 2 of them as Big Stabbers. That's fine. And that's £30, and you're all in, and you have actually the best potential roster for a single box of any faction. And anyway, everybody, that is my rundown of the Warcry Age of Sigmar faction warbands. Personally, I am going to go and buy some Bonesplitterz because, you know what? £30 and you have yourself a really good roster, and they're going to be so quick to paint. Just throw some Militarum green contrast paint on, you're practically done. Pick out a few bones. I'm also, personally, I have just picked up some Stormcast, as maybe I've put in a picture just up there. That was my dinner cooking, not me. I didn't add that sound effect in, just to be clear. And then I'm still holding off and waiting to see the rules for the rest of the guys. Flesh Eater Courts, maybe. As we've just heard, they have the most powerful fighter in the game. That does excite me, I've got to be honest. Ironjawz, I love the models, and I've been looking for an excuse to paint them and build them for so long, but I don't want to just say, oh, I'm going to run at your guys. Gloomspite Gitz, see how the squigs play for them. I'm not sure. And that's it for me. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. I hope you can see my list up here, and that can maybe guide you a little bit about which faction you might want to buy into, or, if you're unsure, if you're on the fence, Bonesplitterz is the easy choice. Okay, everybody. Thanks very much for watching. This has been Glass Half Dead. I hope this has helped you, and I hope you're just as excited for Warcry as I am. And I'm going to be talking about it a heck of a lot more. Have a great day. Goodbye.